Hello and welcome to Treasury Notes, a show dedicated to the latest news and information from the office of West Virginia State Treasurer John Perdue. I'm your host, Gina Joins. Coming up on today's show, the Treasurer's office often receives family heirlooms and collectibles when the contents of old safe deposit boxes are turned into the unclaimed property division. We'll see what happens to those lost treasures. Also, we'll talk about a state program that is helping thousands of West Virginians supplement their retirement savings plans. Those stories in just a little bit. But first, Treasurer Perdue's efforts to provide financial education throughout the Mountain State will make its next stop in Parkersburg on November 1st. The West Virginia Women and Money Conference is a free event where you can get practical advice and tips from a financial expert. Topics cover everything from determining your financial stability to planning for retirement. Dee Lee, a certified financial planner based in Boston, will speak at the upcoming conference. I had the chance to speak with Dee earlier today for a preview of the event. Hi Dee, thanks so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. It's great to be in West Virginia again.
Well, Dee, you've been traveling here to West Virginia to be the guest speaker of our Women in Money conferences for more than 10 years now. Can you believe that?
No, it's hard to believe.
Well, we love having you here. But what has the experience been like for you coming to West Virginia and talking at our Women in Money conferences year after year?
Well, you probably know by now how much I love West Virginia and the people of West Virginia. But, I get such a warm reception whenever I come, and the gratitude that's there, especially after a session, and people walk up to me and say, wow, this was great. Thank you, thank you. And it's great to be thanked, but there's so much behind the scenes, as you all know, from working on these conferences for so many years. But, I get a sense of accomplishment that I've helped people, and that's why I come back year after year.
And like I said, we love having you back. You'll be at the Blennerhassett Hotel in Parkersburg on November 1st for our next Women in Money conference. What are some of the reasons you can tell people that they should register and attend this conference?
Well, I could be very narcissistic and say I'm going to be there, but the reality is these conferences are a gift to the people of West Virginia. This is an opportunity to come and learn about money in a non-threatening environment and to ask questions that you've always wanted to ask, but oftentimes, you don't know who to ask. And beside myself, of course, we have so many exhibitors who are always willing to answer questions. So, why would I encourage people to come? I would encourage people to come because this is a gift you're going to give yourself, because you'll walk away with a bit of knowledge that will stay with you the rest of your life.
And you said they ask questions. You do these types of seminars all over the country. What are some of the issues that people really want to know about?
I think the number one issue I found all over the country, and I just came back from Italy where I was doing some work there as well as playing, but people want to learn money skills. West Virginia is one of the few states that require money skills be taught, but the adults didn't have that, so they want to learn money skills. Then the next biggest issue is always credit and debt. How did I get myself into this much credit card debt? People will come up and say, what do I do about it? And if you can give them the skills to handle that, it is so life-changing. And another big thing is saving for retirement. People want to know, how do I save for retirement? Is Social Security going to be there for me?
Yeah, some very important questions, and I'm sure you get great questions when you have these seminars. We also have people who come back year after year, and they get something new out of it every time, don't they?
Well, they do, because you come and you have an issue. Usually when people come to a money seminar, besides wanting to learn something overall, they've always got an issue, a burning issue. Maybe they want to get out of credit card debt. Maybe they want to buy a house. Maybe want the courage to change jobs, perhaps take a lower paying job because they want to be happier in their own lives. But people come back year after year because what they're looking for me is either education or validation. And I can validate that what they've done or are doing, they're on the right track. And so people do come back. And for me, it's gratifying because they often come back and let me know what they've accomplished since they saw me last.
Well, Dee, I can tell you we are excited to see you again on November 1st in Parkersburg. Anything else you'd like to add about the upcoming conference?
Well, I would like to encourage everyone to come because, as I mentioned earlier, this is a gift you give yourself. People say, oh, I'm going to the spa. Well, I'd like you to say, oh, I'm going to the money conference, because it truly is a gift you will give yourself. And can I say, after doing this for 25 years all over this country, it can be a life-changing event, because if you learn to handle your money, money's empowering. You now have control over a part of your life that you may not have had before.
Absolutely. Great words to live by. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your schedule to talk with us today, Dee. We will see you in November. Again, the Women in Money Conference is November 1st at the Blennerhassett Hotel in Parkersburg. Registration for this event is free. The day kicks off with a check-in and continental breakfast at 8:30 a.m. and wraps up with an afternoon lunch. In addition to Dee's valuable advice, each person attending will receive a copy of her book to take home. Just go to our website today at wvtreasury.com to register, and you can also check out the schedule of events there. While Treasurer Perdue's money conferences help prepare people for their financial future, the Treasurer's Unclaimed Property Division helps people find money misplaced in the past. But there are times when unclaimed property just can't be returned. Greg Stone has more.
Some folks these days propose eliminating the penny as a form of currency, but the owner of these 1-cent beauties didn't see it that way. The 27 wheat pennies and other items shown here were left behind in bank safe deposit boxes. Now they will find their way into the Treasurer's office next online unclaimed property auction.
We receive contents from banks yearly when they have to hold dormant boxes for 5 years, and then they send them to us. Our hope is that we can advertise them and the owners come forward and claim the contents, or heirs of the owners. If that doesn't happen, after the property has been advertised and people have had ample time to claim, we send it to auction.
Once auctions are held, proceeds remain in the account owner's name in hopes that the owner or heirs file a claim for the sale price. Preparation for each auction involves a certain amount of work, as staff member Dan Reed explains the meticulous cataloging which takes place.
And I'm going to verify the quantity as well as the actual content of the bag before we get it ready to go to auction.
Each auction seems to generate several interesting items, as Reed illustrates with a potentially expensive piece of memorabilia.
So Nolan Ryan baseball card is indicated that it is 22 karat gold. We've indicated on the description that it is marked 22 karat gold, and it will be sent out for appraisal, and they will determine whether the actual gold content is 22 karat gold or not.
For other sports collectors who value our local talent, 2 Randy Moss rookie cards, 5 cards in all, are waiting to be auctioned. The next auction is scheduled for late October or early November. Previous auctions have been a success, as this chart illustrates. More than $212,000 in proceeds have been returned, with coins and jewelry among the most popular items. One never knows what will be left behind, as the list of sample items shows. One box contained baby teeth. What you see here are items advertised in a late summer insert, waiting on someone to possibly file a claim, or items being prepared for auction. So the Treasurer's Office online auctions will keep on rolling. In fact, November 1st marks the beginning of the period for banks to turn over their safe deposit contents. So keep checking www.westvirginiaunclaimedproperty.org for the next auction and the chance to snap up something like this.
All right, thanks so much, Greg. Well, if you'd like to check out our unclaimed property auctions, again, just go to our website. You can find a link there at wvtreasury.com. We're going to take a quick break right now, but when we return, find out how thousands of West Virginians are supplementing their state retirement plans. Stay with us.
We find all kinds of items, and that becomes unclaimed property, and it mounts into millions of dollars. It could be stock, it could be CDs, but it could also be a diamond ring or a gold watch of your dad's. We returned over $50 million to the people of West Virginia. I'm proud of that. You can go on our website, you can look at the names and see if your name's on there or someone that you recognize. We set the standards in the nation in returning unclaimed property.
Welcome back to Treasury Notes. I'm your host, Gina Joins. When Treasurer Perdue took office, one of his primary goals was to make sure people had the financial tools necessary to succeed. Under his direction, West Virginia Retirement Plus, the state's 457 supplemental retirement plan, has nearly tripled its participation in the last 7 years. Joining me now to explain more about the growth of this program is John Fisher, Deputy Treasurer of the West Virginia Retirement Plus program. John, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, we love having you here to talk about this program because it's something that Treasurer Perdue is very proud of. Back when he began administering this plan, when he first took it over, there were about 5,000 participants,
That's right.
I think.
That's right.
Now we are up to more than 14,000. That is a huge growth. Why do you think we've had so much growth in this program and it's been so successful over the past several years?
Well, as you mentioned, I think Treasurer Perdue really cast the vision to make our plan one of the premier 457 plans in the nation. And to that end, I think primarily it's just a commitment to excellence, number one, to have the best plan possible for our public employees. A really good outreach program, as far as our office, and of course we work with ING as well on that. That's helped us to be very successful. And last but not least, just having a really good product out there that people can benefit from.
And people do benefit from this. During the month of October, we participate in National Save for Retirement Week. We've been doing this for many years now. Talk a little bit more about the importance of this program. And this is really an awareness initiative for our office and
Yes.
For offices all over the nation to bring attention to saving for retirement.
Yes, it was something that was enacted several years ago by our national leaders. I believe it's in its maybe 6th or 7th year. And it's just a national initiative to really encourage people to save more for retirement and understand what they need to be prepared, what they need to do to be prepared for retirement.
You talk about what people need to do to be prepared. So often
Yes.
people don't think about retirement until it's too late.
That's right. That's why we encourage people to start young if they can, but it's never too late to begin a savings plan. It's never too late.
Do you find often that people aren't contributing enough or aren't worried about it enough, aren't thinking about retirement enough?
That's a good point. That's part of our education process. When we do our different seminars and meetings, we really encourage people to take a look at their financial situation and kind of get a game plan together so they will be better prepared for retirement.
Treasurer Perdue does a lot of education, as we saw earlier in the show with the
Yes.
Women in Money conferences and many other financial education initiatives, talking about planning for retirement in general. And I know your section of the office does that as well. But when we're talking about the state's West Virginia Retirement Plus program, let's talk about who can sign up for this program, because it is specific to certain people.
It's pretty much open to any public employee in the state of West Virginia. If you're a state employee, you automatically can participate. So it's something that's there for you. It's part of your benefit package. The only people on a state level that wouldn't want to participate is someone that's in a temporary employment status. If you look at the local level, if you're a political subdivision, you have to adopt the plan to offer it to your employees. So if you're a city or a county, you just have to adopt it to make it part of your benefit package. But it's pretty much open to any public employee in the state.
And we have a lot of counties and different political subdivisions who have adopted this plan
Yes.
and are using it in their communities, and it's working out really well for them.
It's been wonderful. We have, I think, over 225 cities, counties, and other political subdivisions that participate in our plan. And the beautiful thing about it is they can join a large pool and they can get really good investment options and good service just by joining our pool, and it doesn't cost them a thing.
Well, many employers, they do offer that automatic enrollment. Tell me how that part works.
That's really neat. At the state level, we passed legislation in 2007 that really says that every new state hire is automatically enrolled unless they opt out of the 457 plan. So pretty much you have a 30-day window after you're hired to make a decision whether you want to participate or not. If you don't do anything, you're automatically enrolled in the plan. It really streamlines the process, helps you get into a retirement plan, and you don't have to fill out paperwork, which is a really good thing. We've even had some of our cities follow suit. The city of Nitro does an automatic enrollment program for their employees, so they're automatically enrolled in our plan unless they choose to opt out.
And not all states do that, so we have a really great program
Yes.
where we're encouraging people to think about retirement now.
Yes, that's a good point. We were one of the states, first states that adopted automatic enrollment. I think it was us in Indiana. We're one of the first couple, and maybe Texas. But it's worked out wonderfully for us.
What are some of the benefits for public employees who invest in the 457 plan?
The benefits, first of all, it's going to lower your taxable income. So any amount that you put in the plan is going to lower both your state and federal taxes. Another thing, it's very portable. Let's say you come from the private sector and you have a 401k plan, an old 401k, you can roll that into the 457 plan. If you would leave the public sector and go to the private sector, you could take your 457 plan and roll it into an IRA, a pension plan, or a 401k. So those are two of the primary benefits. There's also federal tax credits that range between 10 and 50% based upon adjusted gross income, and those are very helpful for our middle and lower income families that can participate in the plan.
And earlier you mentioned ING. We partner with them. They're our
Yes.
third-party administrator.
Right.
Talk about their role and how they've helped with our office administering this program.
We're really, our office's partnership is in its 7th year with ING. It's been a successful partnership. We actually lead their clients in enrollments nationally, so it's been a really good thing for us. But they help us with investments, record keeping, and other participant services. So they kind of help us with the administrative side of things.
Absolutely. Well, I know that your staff, a lot of people understand the benefits of this plan, but it still takes some education. We still have to go out there and talk to the people who are investing in this plan to give them an idea of what they're getting into, or what they're doing. Talk about the importance of educating people on saving for retirement.
It's very important. We try to do it in a variety of ways. We have a very good website. You've seen it, of course, where we try to educate our employees on why they need to save. We have good retirement calculators that estimate what they'll need to do to be successful. We also do things on a group level. We have retirement seminars that talk about pensions, Social Security, and of course West Virginia Retirement Plus. And more on a one-on-one level, participants can meet with our local ING representatives to discuss really their retirement goals and the things they need to do to be successful in their future.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, John, as you just mentioned, one of the main reasons Treasurer Perdue has been able to increase participation in this plan is because of the time spent educating people about the plan's benefits. Kim Ward has more.
You just mail me something and I read it, it doesn't hit as much as them coming out here.
As the plan's administrator, Treasurer John Perdue's office holds regular training sessions for state agencies to learn about West Virginia Retirement Plus.
If you're not saving for retirement, this is a great plan to help you start saving.
Sally Klein says having a supplemental retirement plan is about more than saving money.
It reduces the fear, of the unknown and where you're going to be in retirement.
Steve Kearns represents ING, the company that manages West Virginia's plan. He wants people to understand that a state retirement plan just isn't enough.
There's no plan designed to replace all your income. Social Security is not designed to replace 100% of your income. Public employees isn't designed to replace 100% of your income.
Some employees have already factored that into their retirement plans.
When I retire, there's not going to be enough for me to live on. I'm only going to get half of my salary, so I'm going to need something to supplement that.
Your pension and Social Security simply aren't going to be enough, and you need some supplemental income to maintain your lifestyle that you've become accustomed to.
These training sessions help new employees understand the plan's benefits.
Gives you the tax benefits, you got the convenience of payroll deduction, you got great investment options, you have the flexibility of switching between those investment options when you want to.
They are also beneficial for employees who already have the plan.
Old employees that are in the program and employees that aren't in the program that don't know anything about it to just get refresher courses and try to get the new employees to learn a little bit about it. You can always gather additional information that you weren't unaware of or make you rethink
well, maybe I can increase, maybe I, need to do this or need to do that. So
Your life evolves and changes throughout the years, and therefore your needs are going to change, so you need to revisit some of the decisions that you made.
Kearns also points out the many free tools and services available from West Virginia Retirement Plus, like the My Retirement Outlook calculator.
It will calculate the public employee's retirement. It will calculate Social Security. If you participate in this plan, you can put your balance in and what you put in each pay period. It'll build that into the calculation. What it's going to do is give you a picture whether or not you're going to have enough money in retirement, and is it going to last you as long as it needs to last.
I hope they walked away knowing that it is beneficial if they're not in it, or if they're in it, they've learned something new that, they're glad they are in it and they're glad that they started early.
Reporting for Treasury Notes, I'm Kim Ward.
Some great information there, and as Kim's story points out, the days of big pension plans and Social Security carrying you through retirement are dwindling. John, we've talked about this time and time again. Pension plans, Social Security, people are living longer. There's a lot of reasons why that's not enough anymore. Tell us why it is really so important to have some other thoughts about retirement and have some other supplemental plan to carry you through.
As you mentioned, people are living longer, whatever the reason is, genetics, or just good medicine, etc. But that's a good thing. But the bad thing is your money has to last you a lot longer. As state employees and a lot of our county and city employees, we do have a pension plan, and that's something that's going away nationally. But our pension plan has some limitations to it. Give an example, if you have a public employee that works 25 years for an entity, their pension is only going to be about half of their highest 3 years of their salary. Another limitation on our pension program is there's no cost of living adjustment. So if you're kind of getting half your salary in that first year retirement, that's the same amount you'll get in your 20th year retirement. So you really need to do some things on your own to be successful. Then Social Security, another wonderful program that pretty much everyone has access to, but it's not meant to make up that entire gap left by your pension. And that's where our plan can come into play to kind of get you through those years where you need an income stream until you can draw Social Security.
Yeah, it's just not enough anymore. I
No.
mean, back when they developed the Social Security program, people were retiring and maybe living for a few years after retirement.
That's right. That's
just not the case anymore, which is a good thing, as you pointed out.
That's true. That's
Very
true.
good, but definitely takes more planning.
Yes, yes.
More planning. So talk about the tax benefits of investing. You touched on that a little earlier,
Sure.
But let's talk a little bit more about some of these tax benefits.
Yeah, the main reason a lot of people participate in our plan are the tax benefits. But basically, any amount that you put in the plan, it comes out payroll deducted. It lowers your taxable income. So the more you put in, the less your state and federal taxes will be at the end of the year. So that's a good thing. And as I mentioned, there's federal tax credits for certain income brackets as well. So that helps out too. The minimum amount you can put in is $10 per pay period. And the maximum amount is $17,500 if you're under the age of 50, and it goes up to $23,000 if you're age 50 or over. And that sounds like a lot of money to sink into a retirement plan, but those there's situations where those maximums can come into play. Let's say you get an inheritance, a family member passes away and they leave you a sizable inheritance, or maybe you sell some property. Those are situations that people don't think about a lot of times, but your accountant will tell you to max out your employer-sponsored plan to lower your tax consequences on those gains.
You're talking about an accountant. Not everybody has an accountant. Not everybody works with a professional in that realm. And a lot of times people are scared to start investing in their retirement plan because they don't understand it.
Sure.
That kind of goes back to what we were talking about before, the lunch and learn story that we saw from Kim Ward.
Yeah.
Education is key. Having these ING professionals out there in the community is key to let people know that they do have options. And we do have different types of investment options that are offered through the 457 plan.
Yes, that's correct. Part of the benefits of the Lunch and Learn seminars are simply taking the technical aspect out of it for everyday people. Sometimes financial concepts are a little bit intimidating to people, but if they can go to one of these seminars and learn the basics about the plan, just so that's a supplement to your pension and Social Security, and we touch upon the investment options. We have a stable value fund. It's our guaranteed investment option, and it pays 2.66%. So that's something for someone that maybe has a low risk tolerance and they want to preserve their money in their 457 plan. We also have a variety of investment options, no matter what your risk tolerance, your retirement goals are. We have the Fidelity Freedom Funds, where a person can choose their retirement date. The funds are professionally managed for them, so it's kind of a set it and forget it strategy. So that can be helpful for someone that's a little new to investing. If you're an expert, we have things for you as well. If you want a more of a low-cost strategy, you can invest in our index funds, or you can choose, diversify among our 23, 24 investment options.
Sounds like people have a lot of options,
Yes,
and
yes.
they have the opportunity to discuss it with professionals if
Yes.
they choose to. And you did say there are some limits to what you can contribute, but what about deferring some of your pay? You mentioned that if you get an inheritance, you can possibly put that into your supplemental retirement savings plan. There's also other things you can defer,
Yes.
other ways you can defer money into the plan.
If you would get an inheritance, you would have to do it indirectly. You couldn't take that inheritance and write out a check to ING and put it in your plan.
Okay.
It would have to come payroll deducted. So what you would do is possibly use this inheritance for some of your day-to-day living expenses for a while and temporarily up your payroll contribution. So that's one way that you could do it. State employees have an increment pay. If they've been with the state for, I think it's 3 years, you get a little increment check. And another savings opportunity, you can take 20, 40, 60, or 80% of that and put it in the 457 plan. So it's another way to lower your taxable income and help yourself in retirement.
What are some of the factors to really consider when you're coming up with an investment strategy, when you're talking about how much you should contribute and what you should contribute to? Those kind of questions come up.
I think that the two most important things are number one, understand your risk tolerance. So if you're a risky person, you may invest more in our stock mutual funds, basically. Let's say if you're more a risk-averse person and you're closer to retirement, you may want to be more in our stable value fund and maybe some of our bond funds or lower risk stock funds. So it kind of depends on your personal situation, and also your time horizon is important. So when are you actually going to need this money? When do you think you'll retire? So really understand what your risk tolerance is, and then what your retirement goals are and when you'll need the money. And like I say, we have retirement calculators on our website that kind of give you an idea of what you'll need to be successful in retirement. You enter your information such as your personal savings that you have now. You look at maybe the age you're going to retire, and it can factor in your pension and your Social Security, and it tells you what you need to do in the 457 plan to be successful to meet those goals.
And we don't have much time left, but very, very quickly, wanted to ask you about something new that's coming up.
Yes, we had another successful legislative session, and we passed something called Roth 457, which is very similar to the Roth IRA that's been out there for years, but we're going to try to roll that out in 2014. And that's going to be kind of a post-tax savings vehicle for our employees, something that our younger employees might be interested in.
All right, we'll be looking for more information on that.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today,
you.
John. That's all the time we have, but remember, you can always get more information and news from us. Go to the Treasurer's website or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We also have a blog. Go to wvtreasury.com for more information on those. Keeping you informed on the Library Television Network, I'm Gina Joins with the Office of West Virginia State Treasurer John Purdue.